Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself. Oh, and if you don't mind, like, subscribe, comment. And I've got a link tree down below that's got my social media, and it has my Patreon if you want to help out. Thank y'all. The election has pretty much been decided at this point. And I have a few takeaways that I'm going to go over today with you guys that I think are important. And I want y'all to listen to me because I'm not just taking this as oh, Trump won, awesome. No, I'm going to take a look at some ways that it could have been done better. I'm going to take a look at some of the liberal, just, they have no clue, and it's showing things. We're going to talk about all this because, hey, I'm really fascinated by what I've seen in this election because it's going to show in the future what's going to happen. Our media is melting down. It's hilarious how melting down they are. But hey, let's get into this and really show what could have been done a little bit different. Okay, the first thing that we're going to take a look at, the Virginia Senate race. Now, yes, Virginia has turned blue. Ugh. I'm not happy about that, but whatever. Hung Cow, who was running against Tim Kaine. If you don't know who Tim Kaine is, y'all need to look him up. Tim Kaine's people voting for him disgust me. But Tim Kaine won 54.2% of the votes. This was 2,294,169 votes. Hung Cow, a Navy veteran, 45.8% of the vote at 1,942,396 votes. Literally, it was 351,773 votes that determined the Virginia Senate race. Now, are there a lot of blue areas? Yes, there are a lot of blue areas that are high population. But let me tell you something. Part of the problem is that the National Party didn't really do anything to help Cal. That's the first thing. Two, his messaging. I don't know who his campaign manager was. I'm not in on all that information. I'm sure I could look it up, but I don't care because this guy didn't know what he was doing. Jen Kiggins, who is U.S. Representative, won her re-election bid. She's here in the Virginia Beach area, a little bit of an area there around Virginia Beach. She won. She didn't go negative. Did she say something against her opponent? Yes. Missy Cotter Smazel had some things said about her, but none of it was really that negative. It was telling the truth in a way that worked for a campaign. On the other hand, Missy Cotter Smazel's campaign went completely frickin' negative. And, well, she lost. What I am saying is Hung Cow could have had valid points to point out against Tim Kaine. Instead, his campaign manager only had him giving the biography on Hung Cow. That's the problem. There was not enough messaging. This could have won. 351,773 votes. Those votes could have been found if this had been paid attention to. National Party, campaign manager. Maybe we need to examine this state. Yes, it went blue this election. It went blue because the Republican Party here in Virginia doesn't know what it's doing. That's the first take that I've got. One of the failures of the Democrat Party, in this election especially, but it's been failing for a while, but it's just finally hit them, is the folks who are considered Latin. Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, El Salvadorians, Guatemalans, all those folks. Lumping them into one category isn't a plan of success. Just because somebody is whatever skin color they are, that doesn't work. Most folks that I've ever met, I've worked alongside some folks of all kinds of different nationalities, or they were American, they just happened to be descended from somebody from another country that is considered Latin. Hardworking individuals. And Trump treated them like hardworking individuals who have life goals just like everybody else. Whereas the Democrats consistently treat them like they're some put upon people. And that the whole, they keep saying immigration. No. What you're saying is that you want to support criminals. I hate to tell you this, but I got most of my views when I was in the Marine Corps, and the person that was talking about the views of illegal immigration was a gentleman who was first generation American. He joined the Marine Corps. His parents owned a business, and he couldn't stand illegal immigration. And he was considered Mexican American. His parents had been born in Mexico, came up here, started a business, started a family, and did it all legally. They couldn't stand the criminals. This is what you get when you continuously claim immigrants, when you've got a southern border that is sending criminals across it. Take a look. I'm going to be covering this story in a later video of the dude from Mauritania. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mauritius. It's an African country. Dude was Muslim. He ended up killing some Jews here in America. Don't tell me that what's coming across that border is somebody that you want coming across that border. The more and more crime and death that are committed by these people, and the Democrats are defending them over it, the more and more that folks that are Mexican, El Salvadorian, Guatemalan, all those folks are over it. They left the crime-ridden areas where these people are coming from, and it's the criminals now coming up. It's time to realize that, but the Democrats, hey, they can't do it. That's one of the reasons why they lost this election. It's one of the major reasons why they lost this election. Now, something that I've been listening to the past so many days, and I noticed that a few of the liberals that were cheerleading Harris all night, a couple of them broached this, but they were quickly shut down. Social media, YouTube, all these sites. The truth was getting out there. The people that were not getting this truth were the ones that voted for Harris. They were talking about older folks voting for Harris. The folks that aren't paying attention to social media, aren't watching Joe Rogan, aren't watching the interviews that are out there, that weren't paying attention to anything but the mainstream media lies. And let me tell you, it showed, because you had so many younger voters that were coming out for Trump, the oldest person to ever be elected president of the United States. And he got a good amount of the younger vote. Okay, he didn't get the whatever the boys for Harris or whatever that little weird thing was, because if I think it's supposed to be men for Harris, but they weren't men. I don't even think they can shave yet. When you watch all the videos, and I'm dead serious, I try to watch news from all different sources. I really do. But you can tell when the truth is coming out and when lies are coming out. I like what Joe Rogan said. He wanted to see Harris last 3 hours, like Trump did. Oh, Trump, who supposedly isn't cognitively functional, was able to sit down with Joe Rogan for 3 hours, and millions upon millions upon millions of people saw how he handled that. If those millions upon millions upon millions of people who saw him have the conversation with Joe Rogan then turn on mainstream media and listen to these hacks say that he doesn't have the cognitive ability to function, well, they laughed. I can guarantee you they laughed. And then you go, well, okay, he's the oldest president ever. So who's following him? Oh, Joe Rogan had on JD Vance. Yet you're listening to the mainstream media. Well, he can't connect with the common person. Dude literally is a hillbilly. He grew up poorer than Waltz. He grew up poorer than Trump. He grew up poorer than all of the other people combined. He was exceedingly poor, had a drugged out mother. He joined the Marine Corps and made something of himself. That's America. He did exactly what we're supposed to do here in America, what we're supposed to be able to do here in America. Not to mention, he's a Marine. There are a lot of Marines that voted for him. I like how Trump loves Marines. Not all Marines may agree with him, and he's a tough person to deal with, but at the end of the day, you're getting more truth on social media and YouTube and Rumble and sites like that than you are on the mainstream media. And this is proving out now. This election, they're not wanting to talk about it on mainstream media because they know they're just going to keep calling it misinformation. Dude, you can literally watch an entire interview and not some weird thing. Joe Rogan's admittedly a liberal. He voted for Bernie Sanders. He was a Bernie Sanders supporter and still is. And when he's giving an interview, he's talking about some stuff that half the time I don't know what he's talking about, but for the most part, I think I enjoy all of what he says, even though I don't agree with all that he says. The mainstream media is warping things, and people are starting to realize it. People that would not normally realize it are realizing it. That's the that's the second thing of the presidential election, national election, that we get to see the truth now. We get to see how the Democrat Party is failing America. That is just crazy. Oh, I'm sorry if I rambled a little bit in this video. I'm tired. I've been going at it for a while. This election, I've watched TV. I've been watching YouTube stuff. I've been watching everything. This has been an interesting day. And I hope you enjoyed this postmortem. I am thinking about writing down some thoughts when I'm a little bit more coherent and not so worn out. I'm not upset at this election at all. There's some things that I wish were different. I think Mark Robinson had a shot at getting the election, but he just things just didn't go his way. Actually, I think he or his campaign somehow just shot themselves in the foot. I'm glad that Western North Carolina and East Northeastern Tennessee got to vote. And well, you saw how that went. North Carolina, North Carolina, throw your hands up or whatever. I can't remember that song. I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, this has been an interesting election, and we're gonna see how these next 4 years go. They've already attempted what 2, 3 times to try to shoot Trump. Yeah, they're going to be trying some more, but I'm going to be making a little bit more coherent videos. This is kind of one of those of yee kind of videos. Um, and the thing is, I don't fully like Trump, but he's 200% better than the Democrat, any of the Democrats. And doesn't mean that I'm not going to go after the federal government, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still going to do it, but I hope you enjoyed this postmortem. Comment if you did. Tell me if, don't tell me that I was rambling. I know I was rambling, but, I really wanted to get this out tonight. I will probably do a much more in-depth one in the next few days because there's some things that I noticed that I want to get into. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Hey, y'all, have a good day. Folks, I just want to say thank you for listening. I want to thank you for taking your time. I want to hear what your comments are about what you think on this topic because your comments are what's important, not necessarily mine. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're Democrat. I want to hear your opinion on these topics. I want to thank you yet again for listening to my video. Like, subscribe, and all that other hoopla. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.